So Stork's been trying to move this army out, but he's been kept pretty close to his base by this huge lot of Mutalisks, and a lot of Zerglings and Overlords out in the field, and there might be a big drop incoming, or those Overlords might be there just to spot against DTs, which there are still a few of wandering the map, but not all that many. See a big Mutiling attack going for effort, but he hasn't really seemed to accomplish very much with that. He's taken out maybe 2 Zealots and a Dragoon, but he's lost at least 12 Zerglings. Then again, at this point, if effort's able to secure that 4th base, which is still going up, though there's a DT off that could harass it, but seems to just be passing it right by. If effort's able to go up 4 bases to 2, then he can afford to just trade units to slow Stork down, because his economy will mean he'll have more production later and he'll be able to make up any such shortfall. That's a lot of Lurkers and a Defiler's out, so this is going to be trouble for Stork. I think at this point Stork is really regretting going for that early 3rd expansion, but looks like he's snuck a DT into this 2nd expansion of efforts with, looks like 17 kills. That's pretty impressive. So that's definitely something that Stork can do to get himself back into this. He's, I think, tried to reestablish that 3rd base once, but hasn't really succeeded at it. But if he's able to harass effort's economy enough, then effort's trading units is not going to be as beneficial. Now, a large group of Speedlots and Archons are pushing out, and effort's responding to this by bringing another clump of Mutalisks in to try to pin those forces in. There's no observer in that group, and so the Lurkers at that 4th are going to push things back and buy a bit of time, though a nice bit of micro there for Stork, having 1 Zealot being targeted by those Lurkers and letting the rest of the Zealots run through. That was pretty clever, but with those Zealots running away from that expansion that they were out to harass, they haven't done very much. And again, that 3rd has been denied for Stork, so Stork is getting contained on 2 bases, and he's going to have a very difficult time keeping up with the economy and production of effort at this rate. I don't think he's been playing poorly by any stretch. I mean, that DT harassment was pretty good, but I think he's basically paying for that early expansion, which I am definitely beginning to think was a mistake. And now a few Zerglings have slipped into his main while his army is away. Interesting. Ultralisk Cavern's gone up, and the Korean observer is highlighting that observer, which is really the key to this attack at effort's 4th. And the Mutalisks have sniped that observer off, and that's going to force Stork to retreat. So effort really on the ball there with the observer snipes. Has managed to get that 4th set up, and now Stork is finally getting his 3rd established. He's going to get the Nexus up, but whether it's going to stay up is an entirely different question. And now there is a drop, and it's Cracklings. So they're going to do a lot of damage over at Stork's main, which is just about mined out at this point. But they might be able to take out some tech, or just get killed by Zealots, but that was still a good maneuver for effort. He's forcing Stork to divert his attention from other key places, like that third base that he's just set up. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Effort hasn't tried to expand a bit more aggressively. It seems that he has Stork boxed in pretty well, but just as I'm saying that, that's a large army moving out, and then back, and then out again. Stork, I don't know if it's just a little bit of misclicking or some indecision there, but let's see, drones on the move. Okay, so Effort's taken a 5th over at the top left. And I was just thinking that since Stork wasn't putting on a whole lot of pressure until now, that he could have possibly gotten away with doing that earlier. In the meantime, another drop going in at the main, and these gateways are not defended right now, and that is really going to hurt Stork if he loses that much of his production. Scourge looking for that observer again, and cuts away right before we can see it, but I suppose that since Stork is retreating without an observer there, and he's lost his gateways, he GG's. He just knew he couldn't do it, and he's looking pretty disappointed with himself. Effort bringing his ludicrously high winning percentage of late up another notch. He's now won 23 of his last 26, and I think he played that pretty well, but I think to a certain extent that was more Stork losing the game than Effort winning it. I think that that fast third base for Stork was just too greedy, and Effort spotted it quickly and was just able to punish him for it, for that greed. GG.